Namaste, everyone, and welcome to another beautiful Tuesday. I say beautiful. I woke up to the rain falling down, which was awesome because I just planted part of the garden yesterday. We're working on companion planting. I think it's really important to honor what Creator's given us and remember how the plants love to work together. So we planted the three sisters up front. So a lot of squash, the corn, some sunflowers to give them a little bit more pop and flavor, and some marigolds in the front, as well as, of course, the beans. So we're really excited to be able to harvest all of those things. And even if half of them grow, we're still going to have plenty of food to share. So it's going to be great. But I just wanted to welcome everyone in a good way. I am here in Mohinstis, just very thankful and humbled to be living in Treaty 7 territory. So I honor the Blackfoot of Siksika, Kainai, and Bagani. I'm also honoring the Sarsi from Tsutsuna and the Stoney Nakoda from Morley, which includes Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nation. We're walking in the footsteps of Métis Region 3, so I proudly wear my Métis sash to act as that bridge between Indigenous and non-Indigenous culture. I think it's really important to acknowledge the land upon which we stand. Of course, if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going, you're going to get lost. But also, it reminds us of that very sacred relationship that we have to the land. As I was sitting there gardening, I was thinking about how beautiful it is to be able to connect with the land in a really deep and meaningful way, and to think of how our ancestors were cultivating here. I have a beautiful view of Nose Hill, and every time I look up, I think of all of the history that's attached to Nose Hill. We have that beautiful venison wheel that was created up there. But that used to be a lookout point. That used to be how you could see who was coming to trade with you, who was coming to build community with you. If there was a threat going on, if there was different people coming from around to trade, you would know that they were coming. And I think now is the time when we're seeing a lot of stirring, like the animals are going around there, they're communicating and they're trying to build those communities. And now is the time that we need to do that as well. And that's why it's so important to really connect with the earth, connect with the plants, because they're our living relatives, and really be thankful for the food that they're going to be sharing with us come the harvest. And this is why spring is so important to deeply connect. So I always said thank you to all of my seeds as I was putting them in the ground. And of course, I said thank you to the earth, and I honored it, and I put tobacco all over the earth. Not only is it a wonderful fertilizer, but it's our way to say thank you to Mother Earth for growing these wonderful things for us. And I do notice that it does make such a huge difference. I felt more connected to my garden. And so I'm looking forward to seeing it grow to fruition. It's like you're planting the children. It's really wonderful. And it was a great way to get my kids involved with digging in the dirt too. And so that's that deep connection that we have to the land. And we think about the families that have been here for thousands upon thousands of generations and how deeply they were connected to the land and what brought us here. That's part of the land acknowledgement. It's like, what brought us here? What brought us to connect to the land? And how do we connect to each other? When we say all my relations, it's how do we connect and how do we relate to the land and to each other in a meaningful way? So we thank everyone for being in this place. Everything has brought us here for a purpose, for a reason. And so it's really about acknowledging and honoring everyone's journey. And when we do the land acknowledgement, it's about relationships. And so I'm very thankful and humbled to be here. So to welcome everybody in a good way, of course, I always share the Cree welcome song because it's such a beautiful way to just welcome everybody into the circle. Traditionally, when we sing songs, we sing in rounds of 4, which honors the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. But this song is a little different. We actually sing it in rounds of 3, and that's to keep the circle open and welcoming so everyone completes the circle today. Because in a circle, we're all connected. There's no beginning, there's no end, no one is greater or less than anyone else in the circle, just like in the hoop of life. So it teaches us to honor each other in that circle. And when we sing it in 3 rounds, it's to keep the circle open. So whether you're coming and going, you're always involved and you're always welcome in that circle. And it's such a really beautiful way to teach us not to judge each other, because we support each other in that circle. Nobody's greater or less than anyone else. Everybody has different things to learn from each other. So we have those opportunities. Every person that crosses our path, we have that opportunity to learn from them and to be so thankful to learn those lessons from them, whether they be good, positive influences or negative. everything teaches us something. So it's really about acknowledging and honoring all of those people in our circle. And even people we haven't met yet, they have some impact on us. And when we say all my relations, it's not just each other, not just the two-leggeds, us humans, but all of our relations, so the plants and the animals. So we're bringing everyone into that circle today. And so Miasin, which is the Cree welcome song, is from the Nakaha family from Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation in Saskatchewan, which is in Treaty 6 territory. I honor the family for keeping this song and keeping the story of the song alive. And to be able to share it in a really meaningful way, it's such a beautiful gift. And so it's also really important to remember that a lot of our stories and songs were almost lost. And so the fact that they're still here and we're still here, that is such a beautiful gift. And it shows exactly how powerful these messages are and our teachings are and how our connection is to each other. And so Miasin, it doesn't just mean welcome, it also means beautiful. And so I'm going to stand up to sing. Miasin, miasin, hasemina, hasemina, epitakote, wagomaga, ota, Oma Kitaskino Miasin Miasin Hasemina Hasemina Epitakote Iwagomaga Ota Oma Kitaskino Miasin Miasin Hasemina, hasemina, epitakote, iwagomaga, ota, oma, Kitaskino. Hi, and welcome to the circle today, everybody. So some of you may or may not know, but yesterday was National Museum Day. Oh, happy National Museum Day. But it actually brought up a lot of thoughts and feelings for me. I know a lot of families that they're trying to get back a lot of their family's artifacts, whether it be headdresses that mean a lot to their family or to that nation, or bundles, medicine bundles. And so it's really important that in light of Museum Day that we understand that museums still aren't doing things in a good way. There is a lot of work to be done, and it's really important that we put that pressure on, because it's like if somebody took something sacred from your family that had been in your family for generation after generation after generation, but said it had some historical significance, like your grandmother's wedding ring. Wouldn't you fight to get that back? Because that's a piece of you, that's a piece of your history. And so there are so many families that are continuing to fight day in and day out to get what is rightfully theirs back. And that really came full circle. We've been seeing a lot of things in the social media and the news where families are actually getting back these sacred bundles. They're getting back sacred artifacts that have belonged to their families, and they've been, fighting tooth and nail to get them back. But another thing that's happening too is that a lot of families that have these beautiful artifacts, they want to share them. They want to share their stories, their true, genuine stories, not just a tiny plaque that says this is from here, but what the meaning of that is, like what the meaning of that drum is, and have that story attached to it in their traditional language, but also in English or whatever that museum's most spoken language is. I think that's such a beautiful gift to be able to share our stories in a deeper and more meaningful way, because that's exactly how we get people to understand each other, is our stories. And if we actually spend the time to get to know each other and really deeply understand, it's not just a thing, it actually has a story attached to it, that is how we actually respect and honor those things and on a deeper level. And so I was thinking about that a lot, but I wanted to share the healing song. Usually I share it at the end, but I think it's really important to share it now, because there are a lot of families that are grieving the loss of, their family members through the residential school, or through murdered or missing Indigenous women, or just through cultural genocide, which has happened all across Turtle Island, and actually all across the world. These artifacts bring that piece, that missing piece, to those families. And so that healing can begin once those items are returned, because it's like an apology, but a physical apology when you actually return those things. And so it unlocks all of these aspects that were missing before. And so with the healing song, it used to be a ceremonial song, but many of the elders who had shared it, so like Sharon Prue Turner, or Olive Manitopis, or Carrie Moore, or Maimusham, Joseph Grey Eyes, when we shared this song in ceremony, it was powerful. It really is powerful. And those elders have basically said, now we're in a time where we need that healing. Our whole society is transitioning, and we're carrying so much pain and trauma and hurt that we need to come together and heal. And this song has the power to do that. It has the power to bring together people for healing, but also our own individual healing. So in the song, it's also called the crying song or the wailing song. So the heartbeat is the beat for it, which is a healing beat. It's also a women's beat. And in it, of course, we sing it 4 rounds, but the 3rd round, we actually stop drumming. That's the healing round. And so in that round, in that silence, we invite you to say prayers. So you pray for those people in your life that need the healing. And it's not just physical healing. There's mental healing, there's emotional healing, there's, of course, spiritual healing. It's about really reconnecting all of those aspects of ourselves to heal properly, because that's the only way that we can heal fully and completely, is when we're whole. This is why holistic medicine is really important. We need to address the whole being, the whole person. We're not just a section of a person, we're a whole person. And that's what this song also honors. So during that silence, where the drum is not played, think of those things that we need. We need for our own lives. Remember to pray for yourself, because if you don't pray for yourself, if you're not well, how are you supposed to help other people? But also to pray for those people around the world that might need the healing, or that abundance, or maybe they're suffering. And it just allows us to really connect deeply with everyone with that frequency. And then when the drum comes in for that 4th round, just let all those prayers go to the universe, let all that intention go. Because that's all prayers are. They're just intention. It's just setting those and actually saying things so that they can become action. And just allowing Creator to do the work that it needs to do, or the universe to do that work that it needs to do. And so, this is the Cree healing song, also the crying song and the wailing song. way high, way high. Hey, 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 ho, way high, 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 way high. That song's a really powerful song. It just really, sometimes I just have to take stock of how I always feel like there's people singing with me when I sing that song, and that there's people surrounding me when I sing that song. And so it's very, very powerful. And I'm very thankful for my elders for sharing it with me, and just for my ancestors that surround me when I sing that song. It's so important to be able to share it in a meaningful way. Another song that I'm very thankful I was gifted, and that's been in my head all day, just because I have been working in the soil and I have been thinking about growth and life, and chasing off squirrels that are trying to eat that surface level of the seeds. But this is a creation song, the creator song, and it's really about acknowledging everything around us, that growth, that death, all of those cycles, and really acknowledging how deeply we are connected to each other, to the land, the animals, and to Creator. It reminds us that we're spiritual beings. We're part of this circle. We're not above creation or below it. We're part of it. And the song really teaches us how to be humble and how to really appreciate everything that's been created, not for us, but around us, with us, in mind, and what we can learn from those plants and those animals. Even as I was planting, I learned that there's a certain smell to the soil, and it just brings you back to a place that you want to be. And it's so healing and cathartic and wonderful and calming, and you don't stress anymore. Anything that's bothering you, it just goes out of your mind because you're so into the earth, and that's beautiful. And so that's why this creator song really really has been resonating with me the last little while. So this is the creator song. rebirth, I wanted to smudge kind of before we go any further. Just because it's a nice way to kind of ground and heal. Science proves that it's really, really good for us. It's our way to cleanse the air. So today I'm only going to be smudging with sage, which is the women's medicine. And so I'm going to show the kind of sage. So this sage is it's buffalo sage, and it's kind of flattened. Sorry, it was in a bag. But a little bit of a teaching around buffalo sage that I have is whenever we get sage, we always leave it on its stem, because whenever we pull it off its stem, the leaves hold our energy, and we don't want to dictate how somebody's going to pray or how somebody's going to use the medicine, or even if they're going to end up passing it to another person. And so to honor and respect whatever they need to do with that medicine, we always leave it on the stem for them. And that's just an OG Crease teaching. Everybody does things differently. I know that in Pagani, an elder said that she always takes the leaves off, because if they're on the stem, they're considered to be dirty. So that's just her teaching. And so it's really important to learn teachings from many, many different people, because you never know what's going to resonate with you. And it's really about finding your path on this journey. And nobody can tell you which way to walk or how to walk, because they're not in your body, they're not in your being. And this is why it's important to learn from many, many different mentors and elders and knowledge keepers and friends and people just around, because we have so many different ways of looking at the world. But it's when we can actually spend the time to learn from all of these different perspectives that we actually learn so much about ourselves. And so this is why when I explain my teachings, I say these are just my teachings. And it's not right or wrong, it's just different. So if you learn from a Blackfoot elder, a Stony elder, a Sarcee elder, or even another Cree elder, they will have different teachings and they will have different stories for the songs. And it's just really about appreciating where they're coming from. And if it works for you, awesome. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. It's just really about finding what is useful in your own life, because nobody can tell you what's going to be useful for you, because you're the only one who can do that. And so I'm going to roll my sage here. It smells so beautiful. I'm looking forward in a month to going up and picking some sage. And I'll probably post online when I'm doing that, so that we can get like a big group out. I'll bring extra drums, but we love to drum, sing, have a little bit of a feast up there, and really talk about the good way to harvest our medicines. So bring tobacco, bring something to eat, and bring a drum, or if you need a drum, I always have. All right. Even though we're not using all the medicines today, everything is always laid out. I have sweetgrass in the east for our mind. I have cedar in the south for our bodies. I have, of course, sage in the west for our hearts, for our women's medicine. And then in the north, I have tobacco. Lovely little tin of tobacco. Oh, I found my, I thought I had lost it. There was this beautiful bag of natural tobacco that I was gifted. And I thought it was gone. I thought somebody might have taken it. But I found it the other day, and it smelled so good, and I was so thankful. And that's what I mixed in my garden. It was like, it came to me when it needed to be. So I was thankful for that. All right. And so no right or wrong way to smudge. It's whatever feels good to you. And so it's about asking for what you need and not for what you don't. So anything you don't need, get rid of, smudge it off you. And anything you do need, invite it in. The first thing I do, you might have noticed I took off my earrings. Metal holds energy. So yeah, oftentimes you'll take off your earrings, you take off your jewelry, except if it's a part of you. So if it's a wedding ring, you leave that on because that's a part of you. Or if it's a brand new piercing and you don't want to take it off because it's going to be a bad time, you can leave that on as well. Just make sure you smudge it a little extra. But like I said, it's whatever feels good to you. There's no right or wrong way to smudge. It's whatever feels good to you. And so notice I'm fanning with my hand. We never blow on it because our breath is our life and our life is precious. And we don't waste that for anybody. The first thing I do is I wash my hands in it. And like I said, there's no right or wrong. It's whatever feels good to you. So with my kids, sometimes all they do is bring it over their body. They smudge their mind, they smudge their heart, they smudge their belly button because that's where your spirit's at. And then they bring it over their body again, and they're like, boom, boom, and then they're done. But I'll do a long smudge. So I wash my hands in it. So anything that I'm carrying, I get rid of. bring it over my body 4 times, out of the 4 directions in my body. I smudge my mind so that I can think clearly and learn from every person that crosses my path, but also so my mind can be open for all of the different lessons that Creator has in store for me. I smudge my ears so I can be open to hear all of the messages Creator sends me, and also to remember we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. I smudge my eyes so I can see the world with beauty and openly, so I can thank the world for my vision. I smudge my nose so I can smell danger and cookies. I smudge my mouth so I can speak true and kind words that are helpful. I always get my kids to ask, is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Is it respectful? If it's none of those 4 things, don't say it, don't do it. Smudge my throat because I'm very thankful for my voice this lifetime. I continue to give voice to the voiceless, and I'm very thankful for my singing voice as well. I smudge my lungs so I breathe good, clean air. And again, the smudge does clean the air, which is lovely. I smudge my heart so I can remember to be open, kind, and compassionate, and show unconditional love to all of those around me, and including myself. Sometimes we're a little hard on ourselves, so it's about really that self-love, that aspect that we need. Smudge my stomach so all of the food that I eat this day will nourish my body. Smudge my womanhood because I'm very thankful to be a woman and a mother in this time. Smudge my belly button because that's where our spirit's at. Smudge my shoulders and my back so I can carry all of the responsibilities that Creator's gifted me in a good way. I'm very thankful for all of the responsibilities I do have. I smudge my arms and my hands so I can do the good work that Creator's put me here to do. And I smudge my hands a little extra because I'm an artist, and I'm very thankful for the gifts that I have. Smudge my legs so I can walk this red road in a good way. The red road is the path of Aboriginal spirituality. And then I smudge my feet so I stay grounded and connected to Mother Earth, and I tread lightly upon her. And then if there's anywhere that you need a little extra love, so I slept weird, so my neck is kind of sore, and my lower back is sore, and my legs are sore. It's amazing how much squatting you do when you're gardening. And so my thighs are burning. I'm like, oh my gosh. But, oh, it's going to be so good when I have all those veggies. It's going to be great. So smudge those sore areas a little extra. And then if there's anyone in your life that you want to send healing to, anyone that you really want to send that love and appreciation to, you hold them in your heart and you send that love to them, that healing to them, the support that they need, the abundance to them, and also don't forget to pray for yourself. Hold yourself in your heart when you need it. And then when you're all done, you say thank you, or hi, or magwitch, or merci, or gracia, or however you say thank you in your language. But it's important to be thankful and live in gratitude. And so that being said, I wanted to share the water song because I was very thankful after all of the seeding that we did yesterday that we had this beautiful rain overnight. And it made me think of this song. And so when I learned this song, I thought it was called the Rain Song. And when my cousin learned the song, she thought it was called the River Song. Because when she hears it, she can hear herself in a canoe going down the river and hearing like the brook just babbling over the stones, and then the river getting faster and faster, getting rapids until eventually hitting the waterfall. And my other cousin, who was in Vancouver, she always heard the ocean going back and forth, back and forth. And so we were at a family reunion, and we were arguing about the song because I started kind of humming it. And my one cousin's like, oh, that's a river song. And then my other cousin's like, no, it's the ocean song. I'm like, no, it's a rain song, guys. And so we're sitting there arguing back and forth trying to figure out what song it is. And then my auntie comes up behind us and says, what's wrong with you girls? It's the water song. So we were told it's the water song. And so each of us might hear something different depending on how we connect to the water. And so you might hear that rain falling, and then the thunder and the lightning. You might hear the river, or you might hear that ocean. You'll hear it build and build and build, and it reminds us of our own emotions, because our emotions are liquid. This is why whenever we get frustrated or sad, we leak from our face, because our emotions are so powerful. I got to get out somehow. And so it teaches us that our emotions will pass. They will, but it's important to honor them. Just like it's important to honor the water, because we need the water to live. it feeds us. It feeds our plants. It feeds the air. It's such an intrinsic part of our lives. But it also teaches us that our emotions are the same, because without them, we wouldn't be here. We need our emotions to deeply connect to each other, to build community, to have lasting friendships and families, and to really have that strong connection to each other. So we need that water. We need our emotions to care and connect to people and to love people on a deep level. And so our emotions sometimes are rocky, but that's important. We need that ebb and flow, because sometimes the hardest moments will teach us how to appreciate the best moments. And so this is the water song. If you want to sing along, the words are, it's in two parts. So there's the gentle part, which is the water, the rain coming down, or the river flowing, or the ocean rocking back and forth. And so that's wishita, do ya, do ya, do ya, wishita, do ya, day. Or depending on the dialect, it could be wichita, do ya, wichita, do ya, day. But that's just two different dialects of Anishinaabe. And then the second part is wisha, taneya, heya, heya, wisha, taneya, heya, hey. So that's wisha, taneya, heya, heya, wisha, taneya, heya, hey. My mom remembers it as we shot the neighbor in Wichita, Kansas. But no, we didn't shoot anybody. So this is the water song. I'm going to stand up to sing it just because it's a little easier to stand up with you. Whoops. So we start by tapping, and then we go into this harder part. We always sing it 4 times through, but the first part and the last part we actually, and each verse is 4 songs. We start slow and then we build. Wishita do ya, wishita do ya, day. 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 Wishatneya, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey. Wishita do ya, wishita do ya, day. 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 Wishatneya, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey. Wishita do ya, wishita do ya, day. 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 Wishatneya, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey. Wishatneya, hey ya, hey ya. Wishatneya, That's the rain song. Lyndon's like, ah, in the background. His own call. Awesome. That song always makes me thirsty. There's a song that I haven't shared in a while, so if I share it and I mess it up, I'm so sorry. And I have no idea where it came from. It's just when we were learning a bunch of songs, this song kind of came out, and it's really, really fun, which is awesome. I love fun songs. And it's called Mother, I Feel You. And yeah, it's mostly in English, so it was really good when I was teaching to people because mostly English. Woo! So, but yeah, this is Mother, I Feel Ya. And it's really about honoring Mother Earth and Grandfather Sun and Grandmother Moon and, you know, all of the spirits of our ancestors. It's just a really beautiful song to be able to share in a meaningful way. It's fun. It's a fun song. Feel way-oh, 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 way-oh. As much as I see you in the sky, this is the stars are smiling high. Way-oh, 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 way-oh. Father, I see you in the rough. Father, your blessings times for time. Way-oh, 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 way-oh. Mother, I feel you. Mother, I feel. Mother, I feel your heartbeat. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I feel your heartbeat. Way-oh, 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 way-oh. Yeah, I kind of messed up a little bit because I haven't sung on forever, but I love that song. It's really, really fun. And it's a really nice way to just shift it into a more positive light. I think it's really important with the spring, with the sun coming, that we look at all of the beautiful things that we have all around us. I know, like, digging in the dirt is a great way to really appreciate it, but just even hearing the birds sing every morning, the birds have been really taunting my cats, which has been awesome. It's been really hilarious to watch how frustrating my cats are getting. My cat has gone from chittering at them to just flat out scream yelling at them because he's just done. Same with the squirrel. And he got stuck in a tree the other day, so I had to go kill him out. So that was awkward. I wanted to share the laughing song too, just because I have been doing a lot of laughing at at the birds and at the rabbit who's frustrated that he can't get in my yard because we keep closing our gate during the whole winter and last spring, and we just usually leave our gate open. But because we planted seeds and we actually want to garden this year, we've closed our gate. And the rabbit is not a fan of the closed gate. He kind of keeps hopping, looking in our yard and going, I know that there's good things in there. And I just kind of have to laugh because there was like 4 of them at our gate the other day, just standing on their hind legs, looking over the fence. It just made me giggle. And so, I've been throwing some extra, like the fruits and things like that we found. I've thrown a couple extra over the fence that I know are edible for the bunnies. So it's been good for them, but still frustrating. But we actually want to eat our garden this year. So there's that. So I wanted to share the laughing song, or the happy song. This song I learned from an album. I honor the Four Winds women singers for sharing this. And it's just such a fun and upbeat song. And I always laugh because I always mess it up. And me and my mom always used to just laugh hysterically when we would sing it together and we would mess it up. But it teaches us just how to be humble and how to not take ourselves too seriously. Life is too short to be taken seriously. And so it's really about appreciating all of those moments that we stumble, but that we get back up again. Because that's what it's about. It's about really understanding and fixing those things, but, approaching everything in life with just such joy. We have so many things to be thankful for. I think sometimes if you're too serious, you forget all of those wonderful things that you have to be thankful for. And if you forget to laugh, you don't have the opportunity to heal, because laughing is so healing. That's our way to really reconnect deeply with each other, because that's the best way. When we're laughing hysterically, we're so connected to people. And so this is the happy song, or the laughing song. And if I mess it up, that's okay, I'll probably giggle. Way high, oh, way high, high, oh, way ho, way ho, high, oh, way ho, way ho, way, way, oh, way, oh, way high, oh, way high, high, oh, way ho, way ho, high, oh, way ho. Way ho, way, way, oh. Way high, oh. Way high, high, way ho, way ho, way, way ho, way hi ho, way hi hi way ho, way ho, way ho, way way ho, way ho, way ho, way way ho, way way hi ho, way hi hi way ho, way ho, way ho, way way ho, way ho, way ho, way way ho, way way hi ho, way hi hi way ho, way ho, way ho, way way ho, way ho, way ho, way way ho, way hi ho, way hi hi way ho, way ho, way ho, way way ho, way ho, way ho, way way ho, way hi ho, way 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 way ho, awesome. So I'm just like really thankful and humbled for everybody being here. But it's really nice to be able to share in this format. It's really interesting because you're not getting that feedback, you're not getting the hugs. I think that's like the worst part of all of this separation is you're not getting the hugs. That was like my favorite part of seeing everybody's faces was being able to sing together and drum together, and of course hug each other and share food together, whether it be just like snacks or whether it be tea. It was just a beautiful way to really build community in a meaningful way. And even though like I'm from Treaty 6, that's where my family's from, and of course I live in Treaty 7 now, I feel like we have these little pockets of community that have built in Treaty 7. And it's people from all over, so many different nations, not just Indigenous people to Turtle Island, but from around the world, because we're all Indigenous to somewhere. But it's this way that we've really connected and created this beautiful connection to each other and this beautiful community. And a lot of that has been through drumming, and it's been through sharing traditional teachings and coming together to smudge and coming together to really appreciate all of our differences, because that's what truly shapes and molds the world around us. And so it's really been humbling to know so many beautiful people and be able to learn from so many different people, and also be able to learn from so many different elders from many, many different nations. I think it's a humbling experience, and it's so very much appreciated. And so that being said, the song that I kind of wanted to share is the Four Directions song. It's also known as the Four Winds song. I learned it as the Four Directions song, the Four Winds song. It's called the Wendeaho, and can be found on YouTube from Robbie Robertson as the Cherokee Morning Song. And in it, you can hear the four winds. That was the four directions. It's honoring each direction. And so when I sing it, I always sing it to the east first, because that's where Grandfather Sun rises. And so it's thanking Grandfather Sun for the day. It's thanking Grandfather Sun for the morning. It's thanking that east wind for that breeze that it brings to us, and how those seasons change, but they start with that springtime, that burst of freshness. So it teaches us to really honor our childhood, and also remember that we're all children at one time. So to keep that curiosity, and the wind will help us to really feed that curiosity and feed that fun, learning aspect in our minds. And so that's what's honored in the east. And then in the south wind, it warms the earth. It teaches us about acknowledging and connecting to the land and to the animals and to our physical body. It teaches us how to really appreciate our physical body by connecting to the land and the animals and to each other. And so that's what that south is. It's also the summertime, because even though we plant and all of that new life begins in the springtime, it actually grows to fruition over the summer. And then the winds blow from the west, and in the west, that's teaching us how to really honor that older phase in life, that when we become adults, when we learn, hopefully, unconditional love, we become parents or mentors or aunts and uncles or teachers, and we start to shape and mold those past generations. It teaches us really about that responsibility that we carry, but also how full our hearts are when we carry more people within them. It's really about deeply connecting to the water and to Grandmother Moon, because Grandmother Moon controls the tide, she controls our emotions. So I could go a little bonkers around full moons. But also that women's medicine. We have Grandfather Sun in the east, that's that men's medicine, and then Grandmother Moon in the west, that's that women's medicine. In between, we have Spirit, which is those people who can go between both realms because they carry the teachings from both realms, and they're able to share those things in a meaningful way. For a long time, that was allowed. And so this song reminds us of how the winds can change and bring us back to where we need to be. And then, of course, the north wind, that's that cooling wind that teaches us about really that stillness of those elderly years that we carry with us, all of that wisdom that we carry with us, our connection to Creator, our connection to Spirit, our connection to the air and the winter, because in the winter we have that stillness. And even though it seems like nothing is alive, there's so much life just getting ready to be reborn in the springtime. And so it's that ever-changing circle. But it never stops, it just continues to go on and on and on. Just like those winds, they will always continue to blow. And those trees and plants will always continue to grow. And we need the earth. She doesn't need us. So it teaches us really to appreciate the time that we spend upon her and the time that we walk upon her, because she'll be fine without us. But we won't be fine without her, so this is why we need her. And so, yeah, this is the Four Winds song, or the Four Directions song, also called Wendeaho, the Cherokee morning song. I want to share another song. It's a beautiful song, but I usually do it as a call and response because it's the grandmother calling out and you're calling back. So it's really strange not to do it with people present. I'll try. So you're going to be singing along with me at home, I promise. So this song is it's called the Voices. Well, I call it the Voices song, the ancestor song, or the shout out song. I had learned it from my elder Carrie Moore. It was her grandmother's song. And it was funny because when I heard it, I felt like I knew it. I felt like I'd heard it before when I was a child. And so it brought back a lot of memories of my musha of my great grandfather. And so I love this song because it makes me feel like home. And it also teaches us how to really find our voice. And so the story behind the song, because there's always a story behind the song. A long time ago in our tribal days, traditionally women would go berry picking. It's called berry picking song. And as the women would go berry picking, they would take all the kids with them. They would take, all of the little guys, all the way to the big guys. If you were a boy, once you turned 12, you were considered on your path of becoming a man, so you would go hunting with the men. If you were two-spirit, you would learn both. You would go berry picking with the women and learn those teachings, but you would also go hunting with the men and learn those teachings, because it was important that you could go flawlessly and fill in the gaps where you were needed. So you needed to have all of those aspects. So everybody would go berry picking. And the grandmothers, of course, would sit at the biggest bush because the grandmothers were in charge. It was a matriarchal society, but that didn't just mean that the women were in charge. It meant that they made sure that nobody was left behind, that everybody was taken care of. And it was so important that nobody felt like they were out of place. Everybody was accepted and everybody was loved. And so that's what the grandmother's job was to make sure that everybody felt whole in the community and everybody had a place in the community and everybody's voice was heard. So even though we say matriarchy, it was everyone's voice. It was more like a egalitarian. And so as the grandmothers would go, of course, they would sit at the biggest bush because they were the ones keeping an eye on everybody, making sure nobody got into trouble. And so they would be the ones, of course, watching the babies. And if anybody knows how babies explore the world, they put everything in their mouth. So the grandmothers would be like, oh, don't eat that dirt, or spit that pine cone, or don't chew on that leaf, or are you eating a bug? Spit that out. Or, oh, are you eating another pine cone? Great. Or, more grass, great, spit that out. Or put the squirrel down. Squirrels don't belong in your mouth, put the squirrel down. So, yes, because this is how babies do. They just put everything in their mouth. I know, because my little guy used to put the entire cat's head in his mouth. I have no idea why the cat let him do that, but it happened, and it was weird. But like I said, babies have not changed for thousands of generations. And then, of course, the kids, littler kids would be running around, playing tag, skipping stones, climbing trees. The kids under the age of 5 would generally be sticky, and that hasn't changed for thousands of generations. Kids under the age of 5 are generally sticky. They usually be sitting with the elders, learning all of the songs and learning all of the stories, and just enjoying their time. The older kids, of course, would be getting a little bit more adventurous, practicing shooting bow and arrows, hopefully not at each other because it's super unsafe, hitting each other with sticks because that hasn't changed in thousands of generations. It's just now we have more expensive sticks like pool noodles and lightsabers, and my son's like, Master Sword, because he's really into Legend of Zelda. That hasn't changed in thousands of generations. And I'm like, honey, it's still a stick. He's like, it's a glow in the dark stick. I'm like, yeah, but it's still a stick. He's like, yes. But that hasn't changed in thousands of generations. Of course, the teenage girls would be off, not really picking as many berries as they should be, because they would be too busy talking about their crushes. Like, oh my gosh, did you see that guy's moccasins? He was like so super cute. Yeah, that hasn't changed in thousands of years either. And then, of course, the mums and the aunties would be the ones picking all of the berries for the nation for the year. Because, like I said, thousands of generations, not a lot's changed. And so as everyone got scattered to the 4 directions and it was time to come home, the grandmothers would call out. But they wouldn't say, yo, where you at? Because that would be silly and totally not relevant to the era. But they would call out using this voice. And as soon as you heard that voice, you knew that was your grandmother calling you. So you would hear, and you'd be like, oh, that's my Kokom, I should probably call back. And be like, oh, that's my cousin Megan. All right, there's my cousin Carrie. My cousin Yvonne, I know she's over there. My cousin Stephanie, I know she's over there. And so as all of these voices would come through, you would know exactly where everybody was and that it was time to come home. And this was really important because in times of war, you would have a safe camp, but you wouldn't just walk in and be like, hey, is everybody okay? Because you didn't know, right? You didn't know if it was safe. And so you would wait until silence fell and until darkness. And then you would call out. And you would listen. And I would hear, all right, there's my son Lyndon. I know he's over there. Then we'd hear, hi. All right, there's my mom. I can't do my mom's voice with a straight face, but she's over there. Then I would hear, all right, there's my cousin Stephanie again. I know she's over there. My Auntie Georgie, I know she's over there. And as you would hear these voices, you would know where everyone was and that it was time to come home. And now we don't use our voices like we used to. I do because I'm a crazy person. So I use mine at Walmart. I use mine at Long McQuaid, which is a music store in town. I use mine at the grocery store all the time. And so if I lose my kids, I'll call out. And then I'll hear, all right, there's my son Lyndon, usually by the ice cream or in the electronics section. And then I'll hear, Mom, could you just not? You're embarrassing me. Right, there's my son Cloud, usually in the deli. I find him every single time. And now I have the girls who moved in with me, and they're like, you're really crazy. Why are you so loud? But they'll get used to it, I'm sure. But it's a beautiful way to find each other because it's our soul, it's our spirit. So our voices, they don't come from here. They come right from our belly button. And so when we're trying to find our spirit, when we're trying to find our voice, we have to figure out where in our body is it. Is it here in our mind? Is it getting stuck? Where's it getting stuck? Is it here in our mind because we're overthinking things or we're worried too much about what other people think of us? Is it getting stuck in our mouth because sometimes we're just talking for the sake of talking, but we're not actually sharing what we mean? Is it getting stuck here in our throat because we're not speaking out at all? We're not standing up for ourselves. We're not standing up for those things we believe in, and we're not standing up for those people we care about. Is it getting stuck here in our shoulders or across our chest? because this is those expectations that we put on ourselves or that other people put on us, whether it be family or friends or work or school. It's all of those frustrations or those expectations that really hold our voice down. It's the voices that we put on for other people, so it's not really ourselves. Is it getting stuck here in our heart? So that's where we hold a lot of our pain, like our trauma, our sadness. And so it's really about finding that love for ourselves and being able to heal ourselves through our own self-love and being able to find our voice, because once we do that, we can heal our trauma. And so that might hold it down a little bit. Is it getting stuck here in our tummy? So this is our self-worth. That's like our self-esteem. So anytime you say something negatively to yourself, it holds your voice down. So if you're like, I suck, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, you're actually holding your voice down. And so just know that you're amazing. My favorite quote is, we're not afraid to fail. We're afraid to succeed beyond measure. So allow yourself to succeed beyond measure. So be incredible, be awesome, be weird, it's the best. Or they're getting stuck in your belly button because you're simply not breathing deep enough and you're not connecting to your spirit. So no matter where it is, and you get stuck in multiple places, trust me, the older you get, the more stuff you carry, you're just gonna have to bring it out. And so sometimes when you find your voice, you'll laugh hysterically because you can't believe that's how it came out of you. Sometimes you cry because it's the first time you've actually heard your genuine self. And it brings up so much stuff with it. But no matter what, when you find your true voice, it's amazing. It's you, and you feel incredible, and you just want to use it all the time. So you as well could be the crazy person in the warm room like me. So great. And so at the end of the song, we're going to let our voice out. And it might be a squeak, it might be a roar, but no matter what, it's going to be awesome. And the song is really easy. It's just a call and response. It's the grandmother calling out, and you're calling back. And it tells the story that I just told. So at the third round, that's when they're looking for their safe count. So we're going to get really, really quiet. And then once we found each other, we're going to celebrate. We're going to get loud. So it's going to be awesome. And so the words are very tough. I hope you guys are good in virtual land. The words are weya heya, weya weya heya. Weya heya, weya weya heya. So the grandmother would call out, weya heya, weya weya heya. 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 So we're going to sing that through 4 times. So under the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. And remember, it's just a call and response, nothing too crazy. much for joining me this week. This was fun. And I just wanted to give a shout out to, I went to Pearl Circle on Thursday, and it was really lovely. It was good to see people, and it was good to sing with people. Hi, Rose, I see you. And I hope I can sing with people in person soon. If not, I'm going to be here again next week. I'm going to do this as long as I need to. I think it's really important to be able to share and connect with people in a good way, and it's just a nice way to really, build community in a meaningful way. Thank you guys so much. Hi again, and we're good. See you next week.